We all have both, but who's really who? Let's talk about it today on Star Row. Hey guys, welcome back to Star Row. It's great to be back. Today's topic is friend versus acquaintance and how to know who's who. The reason why I'm going to do this video today is because, as you already know, as I talked about in a previous video, we're in a friendship recession. And what that simply means is that people are not making as much friends as they used to. I think this topic is related to why that is. Because personally, guys, like if we can be honest, a lot of the times people don't really know how to define their relationships. And that's not because they're bad people. It's just because we get caught up into society and we have habits that we do as people that bring us into these nasty loops of frustration, right? The reason why I'm saying this is because let's think about it. Most people you meet in your life who you've had a positive interaction with, you've probably been quick to label this person your friend, right? And, just because somebody's your friend, that doesn't mean that they're your best friend, but they're just a friend of yours. But can I just let you guys in on a little secret? Most people in your life are acquaintances. They're not your friends. Now, I'm not saying that to discourage you. I'm just saying that to give you a better sense of perspective. Because let's be honest, it doesn't sound cool to say that, hey, I met this guy the other day or I met this girl the other day. And yeah, I consider them an acquaintance. Or, hey, I have an acquaintance who works at the grocery store. Hey, I want to go introduce you to him. It sounds whack. Nobody's going to say, hey, come meet my acquaintance. You're going to say, come meet my friend because, we want to give people that positive, because the word acquaintance has a negative connotation to it. The word friend has a positive connotation to it. So when you know someone and you have a positive interaction with them, you don't want to give them a negative connotation or something you assume is negative. You want to give them a positive outlook, or you want to give somebody else a positive outlook on that person. And it's okay. Because as human beings, we always want to define our social interactions. We need it, right? Because even though social media is taking over, people still crave other human interaction. And that's also going to be the big premise of my first point there. Now, obviously, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but this is something that's helped me out tremendously in my life as well. And I know other people who are struggling with this issue. Now, acquaintances, in my opinion, are like the quick fix for the social needs of humans. When I say that, human beings, we need daily interaction, guys. We text, that's why social media blew up, because even though if you can't talk to somebody, you can get gratification from seeing somebody talk to you through a medium like this one, like I'm talking to you right now, or you're watching this, you're getting some sort of social connection with this. So most people who are your acquaintances who you mistake for your friends, they're just providing you with a quick social fix just for that moment. And the reality is we have to talk about where we meet most of our acquaintances. We meet most of our acquaintances in settings that we were forced into. And let me elaborate. Acquaintance is not bad. It's not bad to be an acquaintance to somebody or to see somebody as an acquaintance, because all of our friends at some point were an acquaintance. It's just like how you have the the caterpillar has turned into a cocoon and then into a butterfly. Well, it's the same thing with this. Most people you meet in your life, they're going to be an acquaintance before they become a really good friend of yours. And that's just a natural progression. It's just that not most people in your life usually will not progress to the friendship stage. That's the hard part. And then how do we even define that stage, right? So let's further unpack. So because most people you meet in a forced setting, such as your work, the school you go to, maybe a club that you're in, or maybe a church you go to, you might automatically might start, clinging some form of identity to this person, meaning they're your friend. But I guess my challenge would be to say is that when you're not in school, when you're not at work, when you're not with this person, do you ever think about them, or do you ever care to reach out to them? Or would you ever see yourself hanging out with them outside of that environment? Because if they're not somebody that you feel confidently that you could just call just randomly out of nowhere, then you might have to check and see if that's really your friend. Because a friend should be somebody who, I'm not saying they answer a ton, but they should be somebody who you could call and then, speak to about something that's on your mind and get it off your chest. Now, with that being said, if you've never had the opportunity to test those things, that person may not be your friend. I'm not saying that to say I know your business and I can tell you what to do. I'm just saying that to say I got to give you a perspective and help you understand that if you've never tested that, then that's something that you need to test out. If I'm not in that setting with this person, or let's say I wanted to hang out with this person away from that, could I still count on them? Because if you can't, then you have to adjust how you see that person. And mind you, don't look at these people as enemies if you find out they're your acquaintances. This just means that they're not as progressed in the relationship level as you would like them to be. So that's all this really is. Okay. Acquaintances, they're quick, right? You could make them today, and guess what? You could replace them within a week or so. Because suppose I met somebody who I spoke to 5 times in a week. I can know that when I see that person again, I'll be happy to see them. But let's say I never see them again for the rest of my life. I just keep it pushing. I don't think about them. I don't give them a phone call. I might take their number. If I never call them, they never call me. Guys, that was just an acquaintance. Or let's say you met somebody who you spoke to for a week in public, and you were constantly speaking to this person. You're trying to reach out to them. They never reach out to you. They never pick up your phone calls. It's an acquaintance. It's okay. Just understand that. And I'm saying that to say that just because somebody's not picking up your phone calls or they're not answering your text messages, that doesn't mean that they hate you, or that, it just quite frankly means that one, they don't care as much. And then two, you're not that close to them for them to want to pick up the phone and talk to you. So just keep that in mind, that that person is an acquaintance. Acquaintances are attractive because oftentimes sometimes will make an acquaintance with somebody because maybe they're into something that might have a positive outcome for us, right? So, for example, who would you want to be acquainted with, LeBron James or the janitor? You're gonna choose LeBron James. Why? Because even though LeBron James is not your friend, it's better. It's perceived as being more successful to be acquainted with somebody with some kind of status than somebody with no status at all. That's just human nature. Now, with that being said, if you see somebody as a status symbol, I'm just giving you a heads up that most likely that person is an acquaintance to you and they're not your friend. Because if you can't see that person outside of that status and actually get to know them beyond that, then that person is an acquaintance, unfortunately. Suppose somebody knows you for doing something. Suppose you're not famous. Suppose somebody knows you because you make a good sandwich, or I don't know, you do a really good job doing something, but they don't know you as a person. They don't know anything about your personal life. They're not your friend, guys. That's just an acquaintance. So, with that being said, and I'm not going to make this video long. My last video was super long, but that was me getting off 4 years of experience off my chest with college that I wanted people to get their opportunity to get a hold of. But with this, it's just going to be pretty short and sweet. Guys, anytime a person is in your life because they were basically thrusted in and you've never had the opportunity to test out to see whether or not you would still keep in touch with this person after you're not in that environment, you don't technically know if they're friends or not. If you've never even tried to hang out with this person outside of the environment you met them in, then chances are, this person is not a friend. If you try to reach out to this person and they never pick up your phone calls, or you find that you're always reaching out, but then when they see you in public, they'll address you. Guys, this is not your friend. This is an acquaintance. And all of that being said, when you figure out somebody, let's say there's somebody in your head right now and you figure out they're your acquaintance, it's okay. Just leave them alone and just simply keep it pushing. Just think in your head like you're gonna just, acknowledge that person and just don't give them the energy that you were giving them before. That's all this is. There's no need to get mad. I think that's one of the reasons why some people are beefing with each other and they don't even realize why. It's because maybe somebody has an expectation of somebody that they have actually not yet proven to really deserve such expectation. So when you start giving out expectations to people and you've never actually concretely tested out whether to see if this person is truly your friend or not, you're going to get disappointed a lot. For example, giving people money, giving them things. Suppose you're somebody who gives people stuff. Most people are going to be happy to take than to receive. So if you've been helping somebody, and this person is consistently taking from you, and like I said, it's your incentive, it's your prerogative to help that person. But if the help stops and that person stops talking to you, then hey, let's just be honest. You're an acquaintance. You're not a friend. So all of these things, pour into this. So suppose you stop helping somebody, or suppose somebody you've been helping, you want help from them. They don't want to help you. Well, unfortunately, when I say they don't want to help you, I'm not saying because sometimes people can't help you, but what I'm saying is that if you notice that you're always able to help somebody or wanting to help somebody and somebody is never able to help you or not even like pick up your phone call, talk to you, yeah, that's just an acquaintance. So, anyways, now that I got that out of the way, let's just talk about the simplest thing, which is a friend. I know, right? Crazy how it's easy to confuse an acquaintance with a friend, but let's just break it simple for friends, right? So, I'm going to break this down really simply. So, I'm going to do an acronym for this. So, friend, we'll start with the first letter, F. The first letter means free. Guys, friends should be free. They shouldn't cost you anything. When I say they shouldn't cost you anything, I'm not saying that you don't have to spend money on your friends or you're not going to spend money to make friends. But the reality is, guys, is that most of your friends should not be costing you a lot of money. If you feel like you're constantly pouring money into somebody just to keep them around, you know that's not your friend, guys. If you're constantly the one that's always pouring out resources or something to somebody else, they are not your friend. So friends are should be free, meaning that you should be able to hang out with this person or get in touch with this person without having to give much of monetary value or some super, status. So let's get that's the first fact, right? Your friend should be free. The second letter, R, reliable. Now that you know that your friend shouldn't be costing you a ton of money or a ton of things to keep them around, they should be reliable, meaning that they should be able, if you get in touch with this person, you should expect that this person is going to get back in touch with you. Or you should be able to count on them to, do something for you or at least get back to you. Because I know the idea that sometimes we think all of our friends should be able to help us all the time. Well, also a fantasy. That's not going to happen because, we can't solve everybody's problems. But you should have somebody who you can say, boy, this person's reliable. When I call them, they pick up the phone. Or when I need something, they're going to get back to me. When you can just always count on this person and you don't have to question whether or not they're reliable. If you want to call somebody or if you feel like there's something you want to ask of somebody or you need help and this person is not somebody who you can think of asking for help or somebody who you want to tell your problems to, chances are they're not your friend. So that's what I mean. So your friend is somebody who you would who you think is reliable enough to reach out to or to ask for help or things like that. All right. So that takes care of that. The third letter, I, intentional. Your friend should be intentional. What does that mean? Intentional just means your friend should be basically not just hanging out with you, but they should also be pouring into you and you pouring into them, whether it's agreeing beliefs or disagreeing beliefs, or even just quite frankly, just basically making the most of the relationship as far as, you know, let's sharpen each other, let's make each other better. I mean, some people could be making you worse, but hey, that again, that's your prerogative. If your version of being friends with somebody is the two of you putting each other down, then that's different, and that may work for somebody else. But all in all, what I'm saying is that you and your friend should be intentional with one another as far as how you guys hang out and how you guys proceed to do things. And that just shows a level of concern that that person would have for you, because an acquaintance is not really that intentional. When I say an acquaintance isn't intentional, that means that this person is not really, they don't really have that obligation to, give you more input on things or, be there as far as giving you guidance or ideas. Because quite frankly, you're just a passing by. You're just a passing body. You're not really something that they're like thinking about 24/7. And that's fine, right? Not to hate on acquaintances. Um, so now that we've got that out, intentionality, right? So let's get to the next letter. E. E is for enjoyable. Now, time and time again, this can be kind of like a slippery slope. So your friends should be enjoyable. And that means that you should enjoy this person's company and they should enjoy yours. Now, that's obviously not going to be the case 100% of the time because we all get on people's nerves to some degree. No matter whether or not they are friends or family or strangers. But your friends should be enjoyable, guys. It should be somebody you enjoy hanging out with or somebody you look forward to seeing. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, this person's going to be around or da or whatever. That's not a friend. So you should enjoy your friend's company and they should enjoy yours. And quite frankly, that's how it should be for the most part, because why else would you want to be around the person? And enjoying somebody doesn't necessarily just mean just having a good time with them. It could mean challenging them too. Meaning that do your friends, do you enjoy the fact that they care enough to challenge you? Or do you enjoy the fact that they're always, making you think differently? So whatever it is that, makes you enjoy somebody, your friend should also embody some of that as well. That's to say, hey, I enjoy this person enjoys me. All right, so that takes care of that. So enjoy your friends, guys, and they should enjoy you. Now let's get to the next letter, number 4. Now this one's a tricky one because this is a really hard one, especially in today's day and age. N. N is for natural. Now, natural is that's big, guys. Natural, oh, it's so hard these days because everybody's trying to get somewhere, and people are trying to network and make friends because of what people have and whatever outcome they want. But your friend should be natural, meaning that it shouldn't be a forced thing. That ooh, just even me saying that, I can already tell like that's gonna make some things a little awkward. Because right, because it's like technically you should be trying to be friends with certain people, and don't get me wrong, you should. But when I say natural, I just mean it should just happen naturally. It should just happen over time. Like sometimes you don't even want to realize that you and somebody became friends. Like it should just happen. One of those things like, hey, dang, like you know what? This person's been consistent. I enjoy them. Blah blah blah. I don't have to spend money, but it should be a natural experience because there's nothing worse than trying to go out of your way to be friends with somebody who you don't have a natural, connection with as far as, hanging out with them or whatever. It's a very awkward situation. A lot of people, have probably been there before and it's very awkward. And then, trying to be around somebody and it's like the vibe isn't there. That's just don't force it, guys. Don't fall into peer pressure. Don't fall into anything. And I'm not saying be mean to people just because you and them don't naturally have a good vibe with each other. I'm just saying, be just aware that, in order for somebody to be considered a friend, it should almost feel natural for you and this person to talk or to hang out. It should not feel like, oh, boy, this person's here. Oh gosh, now I got to walk on eggshells or I got to do this or that. It should just be like, okay, hey, it's you. It's you. Hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. You talk and it just flows because all of us, if you've had enough social experience, you've had enough experience to know when something flows. Okay. Let's just keep it a buck with each other. You know when it flows and you know when it doesn't. And this may even apply to romantic relationships too, by the way. But it should always flow. It should never feel like there's a disconnect somewhere. So, anyways, that leads me to the last letter and the most important one, and that is D for dedicated. Dedication is important because, again, what you want out of your friendships is you don't want your friendships to go disappear into thin air. You want there to be a dedication, meaning that, as I said, they're intentional. And again, the dedication just means like sticking with your friend even though things may change between the two of you or a group of you. So sometimes in life, there's things that happen, right? Whether somebody gets more money or somebody moves away or somebody may, I don't know, change the way that they do things. Now, I'm not telling you to stick around for people who are going to get you into trouble or, if somebody's like doing criminal activities that they weren't doing before. I'm not telling you to keep that person around, but I'm just saying little life changing events that may make it a little bit different for you to see this person. You want to stay dedicated because growth is inevitable. Growth happens in life. It's just that growth can be an upward trajectory and it could be a negative trajectory. So, as I say, net negative or net positive, whatever it is, people change throughout life and that's going to be natural. So, a good sign of a friend is dedication. That means how much are they willing to stick it out to check in with you or for you to check in with them and basically just stay on the journey of just keeping connected because a lot of us have made friends with people and have disconnected with them and we don't even know where they are. So when you have a friend, just keep in mind that you need to be dedicated. And basically, this may mean that you might have to delay the friend title for a good amount of time before you can call somebody your friend to other people. You may have to wait it out a little bit before you can comfortably say somebody's your friend. That might be the challenge in this. But anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to say for the friend, versus acquaintance situation. I think that this is a very common issue that a lot of people are finding, especially with Gen Z, possibly millennials, or maybe even older people, for all I know. But anyways, the point is, guys, is once you can dictate who your friends are and who your acquaintances are, I promise you, life will be much more easier, straightforward, and less confusing and complicated. So, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Star Row. And also, comment down below. Were there any friendships that you might have mistaken as an acquaintance, or, an acquaintance you might have mistaken for a friendship? Or was there a time you learned somebody wasn't your friend? Or was there a time when you learned somebody was your friend? I'm curious to know, and I can't wait to read them, guys. But thank you again for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you guys on the next episode. Peace.